Now, I have been working with these disorders for a long time. I actually did an entire reality television series about what it's like to treat people with this condition. Now UCLA researchers are coming to the conclusion, guess what? Sex addiction is a legitimate mental disorder. On my show, Sex Rehab, Nicole Narain spoke openly about this. Take a look.
I don't want this to dictate really my life or who I am, but I really feel like I am a beautiful disaster, so I just figured I'd write. In this moment, my inner child runs wild. Pain in my eyes is what you can't see because of my smile. Beautiful disaster is what I am, bruised and scarred. Yeah.
And I'll tell you, when you see this disorder, when you really see people that are afflicted with it, it's not subtle. It's not something you question whether or not it exists. And often in women, we were just looking at a young lady with this disorder, it comes from severe childhood sexual trauma. Simone, you agree with me?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad that finally this is going to be recognized, which is an area that you, Dr. Drew, of course, have been working in for such a long time. It is incredibly sad. It's incredibly distressing. People think because it's sex and because celebrities, want the get out of jail, free card.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I'm a sex addict. Maybe some of them are. But actually, when it really, really affects someone, they can lose their job. They can't maintain a relationship. And they are craving to be close to somebody. And they are, as you know, Dr. Drew, full of shame and come from a bad place.
It's exactly right. The people that are having these close connections physically with all these people will always say the same thing. All I want is a real relationship.
But can I just ask you a question? Do you think some people, though, take advantage of the label?
Absolutely.
They're just bad people, and they say, oh, I'm an addict, so I need to pass.
Well, bad people is a pretty broad term. But
well,
yes,
just
like with shopping addiction and eating addiction, these behavioral addictions are very dicey to deal with. You can use the term addiction too broadly, as opposed to when somebody really loses control and is really having profound consequences. Cindy in Kentucky, you want to say something here?
Hi, Dr. Drew. Thanks for taking my call.
Cindy?
I don't think it's a sexual addiction. I think it's a hormonal imbalance, just like a low libido.
Wait, Cindy, what does that even mean? What is a hormone? That's not a term that means anything to me, hormonal imbalance. What hormone? And exactly what biology? What mechanism? And what exactly does it do to the brain?
I just think that something in the brain is not working correctly.
I totally agree with you, and that's what makes an addiction an addiction. Because it is a part of the brain called the medial forebrain bundle that's a part beneath consciousness that sets up a drive, a system that cannot be withstood. In fact, all the rest of the systems serve that drive. So your thinking, your reasoning, all those good things that we use normally to make good judgments become a part of the liability of this distorted motivation. Do I have to take a break here? Tell me in the control. Oh, I can keep going. Somebody was ready to speak there. Who was that?
It was me, Dr. Drew. I was just about to say, Lisa made a very good point earlier, and perhaps this is where your caller, Cindy, was coming from, in the sense that people banned this label around because it's sex addiction, and there are plenty of men who go and cheat for cheating's sake, not because they're sex addiction, then they get caught out, and then they have very good publicists who say, oh, he's a sex addict. So there is a clearly defined distinction between somebody who just cheats for the opportunity because they can, because they're a sports player, and somebody who feels bad about themselves, bad about the sexual act, and who craves intimacy.
So are you saying we could actually do a brain scan of a guy who's cheating on his wife?
No,
He says, I'm a sex addict, don't blame me.
And we can tell the difference?
And tell if he really has a biological problem.
I believe there will be a time we could do something like that. That makes sense to me.
I think
wouldn't it?
The good thing, though, Dr. Drew, about it being called a mental illness, or is coming out as clarified as that, is it gives a person who is suffering, it removes that silence, perhaps, and may help people recognize what they're suffering from.
Right. You're responsible for your treatment, not your condition. But if you let it go unchecked. Cindy, are you still there?
I am.
Did you have a family member or something that sort of had this condition, or sort of?
Yeah, 2 years into my marriage, my husband had rented porn and called those 1-800-GIRLY numbers on the phone. And it hurt me like it was a affair. I don't think people really realize what this is doing to the person that they're with or married to.
Well, absolutely. Listen, the fact is that this is getting complicated, but when somebody's involved with somebody who is addicted to sex or pornography, there's a reason you're with that person. And so it's a couple disorder. Oftentimes you have to treat both people, and they can end up in a better place. I heard.
But you're not saying it's her fault.
No, I'm not saying it's her fault. It's absolutely not her fault. The one who's betrayed her not responsible for it, but there's a reason you're with that guy.
Because I would feel the same way if my guy was watching porn all the time and calling those numbers. It is a form of cheating. It is a form of
It is a liability. It is a violation of sorts, but it's not about you. It's about that guy's
That's
condition.
the hard thing to understand.
It's a hard thing. I just heard what's Fergie from Black Eyed Peas. Her husband was saying he got caught cheating. Josh Duhamel is his name. And he got caught cheating. He was saying, I'm so glad that happened because we had a problem. We didn't know it, and this was a symptom. Now we're in a much better place. And
he's glad he got caught cheating?
That's what he said. I heard him say with,
I wonder
with
how glad
Oprah.
she
Yeah.
is.
Actually,
You know, a
Dr.
lot of people who get caught cheating wanted to get caught cheating.
Yeah, and in my experience, anything that can sort of highlight and flush out the problems that they were experiencing prior to the cheating, they can end up in a stronger marriage if both people are prepared to do the work.
How about they just keep their pants on? Is that so much to ask?
Lisa, like I said,
Once
hang on,
again,
guys. I got to